We've put this video together for climbers visiting the centre to get some important points straight from the start. This video is part of the induction process for all climbers at the Adur Centre wall. Please watch and listen to the whole video carefully.
We'll be covering important safety points such as risk, duty of care, supervised and unsupervised climbing, bouldering and the rules of the Adur climbing wall.
For those watching that are new to climbing, we must remind you that climbing is an activity with the danger of personal injury and death. All climbers should be aware of and accept these risks and be responsible for their own actions and involvement. Although the climbing wall is an artificial environment, the risks involved are no less serious than climbing outside on a crag or mountain. There is an additional risk that bolt-on holds can spin or break.
The soft flooring at the foot of the climbing wall and bouldering wall is designed to provide a more comfortable landing for climbers falling or jumping to the ground. The soft flooring does not make climbing any safer. Broken and sprained limbs are common on this type of climbing wall despite the soft landing. Uncontrolled falls are likely to result in injuries to yourself or others. Climbing beyond your capabilities on any wall is likely to result in a fall. Any fall may result in an injury despite safety systems in place to avoid it. You must make your own assessment of risks whenever you climb.
Okay, talking about supervised climbing, an adult who has registered at the centre may supervise up to 2 novice climbers, as long as they are prepared to take full responsibility for the safety of those people. Groups of 3 or more novices must only be supervised by an instructor holding the relevant mountain training qualification. All children in the centre must be supervised by an adult unless they have been assessed by the management and registered for unsupervised climbing.
Unsupervised climbing. Before you climb without supervision, the centre expects you to be competent in the use of a harness, a suitable knot to attach a rope to the harness, and a belay device to secure a falling climber or lower a climber from the wall using a rope. You are required to register to say that you know how to use the equipment, that you are prepared to abide by the Adur wall rules, and that you understand the risks involved in your participation. Anyone who is not registered is classed as a novice and must not climb without supervision. Unsupervised climbing is just that. Adur staff will help and give advice, but any instruction in the use of a harness or a rope or belay devices must be paid for and must have been booked in advance. If you're not confident in the use of any climbing equipment or technique, then do not attempt to use it without the supervision of somebody who is competent to do so.
Yep. General safety. As we have a duty of care to you, we have set out some rules for the climbing wall. They are not intended to limit your climbing. They are part of the duty of care that we, as operators, owe to you, the customer, by law. As such, they are not negotiable, and if you're not prepared to abide by them, then staff must politely ask you to leave. You also have a duty of care to act responsibly towards other users of the centre. Statements of good practice are posted around the centre adjacent to the relevant facilities. These describe the accepted methods of use and how customers would normally be expected to behave towards each other. Let's go through the rules of the Adur wall. Number 1, report to reception on each visit before you climb. Number 2, you must exercise care, common sense and self-preservation at all times. Number 3, report any problems with the walls, equipment or other climbers' behaviour to a member of staff immediately. Number 4, be aware of the other climbers around you and how your actions will affect them. Number 5, do not distract people while they are climbing or belaying. And lastly, number 6, stand well back from the climbing walls unless you are belaying or spotting a climber. Never stand directly under someone who is climbing.
When leading at the Adur Centre, you must supply your own appropriately rated dynamic rope. Do not use the centre's top ropes for lead climbing. Running belay attachments are already provided at intervals on some of the lead walls. You do not need your own quick draws. You must clip all the runners on the route you are climbing. Some of the climbs in the centre have top ropes already in place. You may take them down to lead on these routes, and please remember to replace them when you are finished on that route. Do not take them down to use on other routes. You may use your own quick draws and rope to lead on the top rope walls and other unequipped routes. Staff reserve the right to inspect your climbing wall, and if they deem necessary, request that you do not use it on the climbing wall.
When belaying, think about these rules. Always use a belay device attached to your safety harness with a locking carabiner. Traditional or body belaying is not acceptable. The belay bags on the floor and the attachment points at the bottom of some of the routes are provided to give support to people belaying a climber who is much heavier than they are. Direct belays from both the belay bags and attachment points are not acceptable. Always pay attention to what the climber is doing. Always stand as close to the climbing wall as is practical. Sitting or lying down are not acceptable.
The main climbing area is designed to be climbed using a rope for protection. Solo climbing is not acceptable on these walls. Always use a rope to protect yourself on these climbs. Always use a safety harness to attach yourself to the rope. And always tie the rope directly into the harness using a suitable climbing knot. Clipping in with a carabiner is not acceptable unless under the supervision of a qualified instructor.
When bouldering, always climb within your capabilities and descend by down climbing, jumping, or at the very least a controlled fall. Never climb directly above or below another climber. Well, that concludes the walls and induction video so far. Thanks for watching this video. The next step to get climbing is to register online here.